Today I'm going to a potluck and I'm going to take with me my green beans and potatoes with mushrooms. So this is what I'm going to need for them. I've cut up one really big onion, bell pepper and a red bell pepper, 3 pounds of potatoes. I have back there 6 bags of green beans. Those are frozen green beans, 12-ounce bags. 2 cups of stock made with better than bouillon and water, and I may add a little water as I go. I think I used a tablespoon and a half of the better than bouillon in this particular cup of stock. And then of course I have my mushrooms right there, and then just a few little things. I don't have any fresh garlic, so I'm using the minced. I have onion powder, smoked paprika, of course, my Lite Tony Chacheres, and then garlic powder. The first thing I'm going to do is get my seasoning vegetables, which are these, and my garlic. Not the garlic yet. Get these 2 seasoning vegetables in a really hot skillet because I want them to char just a little bit. And then as soon as I pour a little bit of the stock in, then I'll put the garlic because I don't want the garlic to burn. Okay, let's get started. This next step is really delicate. My skillet was really hot, my big pot. And now this is my giant pot again because remember I'm making a huge batch. So I dropped them in the skillet with no stock, no water. I'm dry sautéing because I want them to get a little bit of a char, just slightly, because these are, with the green beans and potatoes, you do want that smoky taste. I am going to put the smoked paprika in it, but dry sautéing helps to achieve that smoky taste as well. And you can see as I'm panning this back and forth how big this pot is. So what I have in here right now is a whole bell pepper, a whole red bell pepper, and a great big onion. Chopped them up, not really tiny. But the thing about this step is you have to move them around constantly. You don't want it to burn, and you don't want the bottom of the skillet to burn. Okay, I'll be back. Alright, I am going to pour in about a half a cup of stock. And then it's important to get all that good stuff that might have been stuck to the bottom of the pot. And at this time, I'm going to go on in and put in my garlic and my potatoes and my seasonings. I'll be right back. This is what it looks like when I put my seasoning in. I put my seasoning right on top of the potatoes because I want my potatoes to have that nice flavor that'll go all throughout the green beans and so on. I won't add in any more of my spices or seasonings after I put the green beans in. So then I put all my seasonings and spices on top, and then I'm going to stir it all around. And this is what it looks like at this stage. Now with the cabbage, I waited a little bit, but with the green beans, the frozen green beans, I'm going to put them in because they're all going to take around the same amount of time to cook. So let me get my green beans added. Okay, here's a quick peek at what it looks like when just before I put the green beans in. Those are raw potatoes, by the way. So I'm not making this with Instant Pot potatoes. I'm actually making these with raw potatoes. Alright, this is what it looks like when I put in my green beans. Remember, I have 3 pounds of cut up potatoes, 6 12-ounce bags of green beans, so it's 2 bags per 1 pound of potatoes if you want to make a smaller batch. Let me stir this around and I'll be right back. Alright, this is what it looks like before I put the top on it. And now this is going to smother anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. This is a big pot, so it just depends. And I'll show you each step of the way. But this is what it looks like when I stir everything around. The green beans are still frozen and the potatoes are still raw. And so I'm going to put my top on it and I will check on it every 10 minutes or so. Oh, and I also did put the rest of my stock in here as well. This is what it looks like after about 10 minutes. It was on medium heat. Now I'm turning it down to low and let it simmer. Put the top on it, let it smother. I'll check on it in about another 15 minutes. This is what it looks like about 20-25 minutes in. Some condensation from the frozen green beans added a little bit more liquid. So I don't think I'll need to add any more liquid to this at all. But it is going to need to cook a little bit longer. The potatoes are still not tender, and many pieces of the green beans are still that bright green. With green beans into potatoes, the green beans turn a little bit of a dimmer green. So we'll put the top back on and let it cook a little bit. All right, it is almost done. I've got probably about 10 more minutes. Now is when I'm going to add in my mushrooms. Mushrooms don't take that long to cook, and I don't want them to go to mush. I just kind of put the mushrooms in there to cook just a little bit and give it the flavor. But the other step that I'm going to take is this one. I took several of the pieces of potatoes, and a little bit of the green beans came with it, and I mashed them with my potato masher right here. And so it makes a little bit of a like mashed potato consistency, and I'm going to drop that in here as well, and that's going to act as a thickening agent. All right, I've added in my mushrooms, and you see the mashed potato type stuff on top. Now I'm going to mix all that together and let that simmer for about 10 more minutes. See how it looks when I stir in the mushrooms, and I've stirred in the mashed up potatoes. It's already gotten thick. I may even want to add a little bit more liquid to it because I do like that little creaminess that occurs when the potatoes are cooking, and then we have the thickened mashed potatoes that help to make this a little bit thicker. All right, it is all done. The green beans look like they cooked down a little bit more than I usually like. The next time I make this batch, I'm going to make sure and cook the potatoes a little bit longer next time before putting the green beans in. When I make such a big batch, you do have to adjust sometime. But here we go, green beans and potatoes with mushrooms. I hope you like it.